Good morning, YouTube. Well, just watched Captain Picard, episode 8, Broken Pieces. Sorry I missed last week's review. I did watch last week's episode later in the week. It was very good, but this week's blew that out of the water, so where do we start? So we get more into the Soji origin of the planet with the 8 stars and the lightning and the home world of the Sims. And we find out a lot more about the conspiracy that 200,000 years ago there was a Sim rampage, androids across the galaxy running amok, slaughtering life, and it showed this great scene where with the Romulans round this like ring thing and they're getting these memories and they set up the Jack Vash to stop this. They're all a bit paranoid. So, you know, when they saw Noonie and some create data, they were shitting themselves. And Admiral O's half Romulan, half Vulcan. We find out more about Rios's backstory, which is interesting. Amazing how it connects up this, the coincidence of how they all come together. Agnes, she spills the beans. Raffi starts putting it all together. And the top thing is when Elf Boy, he's in there slaughtering Romulans. 7 of 9 turns up. She turns up on the cube and like asks where Hugh is, and he tells he's dead. And she becomes like a sort of Borg queen, and Narek's sister's slaughtering all the Borg. I mean, there's a lot going on in this episode. It moves along great. We've waited 8 weeks for this. It brought a lot of this together in this episode. There's a lot to sort of get through. It's going to be great seeing 7 of 9 turn up with that Borg cube. And we're looking like we're going to see some starships. Because Picard got the Admiral and we got another F-bomb when she said, "Shut the fuck up, Picard." I don't know what to make of these F-bombs. I'm finding it really... I find it unusual in Star Trek. I remember when I heard it in Discovery, I was like, what, you know, but it's coming quite common in this. And then Rios told Raffi to piss off. And then there's a great scene where she gets all the holographic Rioses together. And she's trying to analyse this event because we find out that his captain blew his brains out because it was like a first contact scenario and it was 2 Sims and it was her because he freaks out when he sees her, and suddenly she's like getting more activated and getting more like of this like memory of stuff. So it seems the Sims were quite peaceful. The attack on Planitia, Utopia Planitia was the Romulans, not the Romulans, but the Jack Vash. So it's going to be interesting. Is that going to mean a war between the Federation and the Romulans? Or is it going to be the Romulan government's going to deny? Because obviously the Jack Vash, are they separate to the government? Is the government, whatever Romulan government is in place, it's going to be interesting. I like seeing more of Romulan culture. They are my favourite Star Trek baddies. We didn't get Narek in this week, so we did saw his ship right at the end. He's been tracking him. So Agnes, this is more of a coming together episode, like with Agnes then with Raffi putting the pieces together and Soji, and eventually they get round the table and they all start talking. Now, I read a big spoiler this week, and I don't know if you want me to tell you it. Now, this is not confirmation, right? Right, this is not confirmation. This was on 4chan, but it was released on Mr. H reviews, and he had it's like a 1-page thing. But they reckon it might have been an original script before they changed it. Do you want me to tell you? Look, don't shut me down for spoilers, right? But I have told a couple of people and they weren't happy about it. Well, I don't know. Right, all right, I'll tell you. Right, might as well. Yeah, I'll go for it. Right, Rios, right, in the final episode of this. Now, I could be wrong. I'm only going, this is what's circulating about. That Rios Right, him and Agnes, obviously after all this is sorted out and we're going to the second season, and in the final episode, he must drop them all off back at Earth or whatever. And him and Agnes, I think she's into him, you know, the cyberneticist. And she says to him, come and live with me in Osaka in Japan. And he said, I can't. And she goes, why? And she's going to beam down. He goes, and what is it? Emergency command hologram deactivate, and he vanishes. And I don't know. With this episode today, there could have been a big Easter egg. You know, is that it's saying, look, basically he's an hologram. You know, more advanced type than the others. Because like the template of them all on board the ship. So I don't know. It would be sort of interesting, that, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. You'd be like, if you didn't know about this, you'd be like, fucking hell. So I don't know if that's true. Let's see what happens if he is an hologram. But I'm wondering with today's episode, because when I watched like first season of Discovery, when we see Lorca, and I only picked up on this second time I watched it, because you see more, don't you? After I'd seen the first season, there's a scene with Lorca where he's staring at himself in the reflection in the window, and I didn't really notice it first time. And when I saw it, I thought, oh God, there's the answer to the entire... It's right in front of you, but it's only for about 2 seconds. So I don't know, could be wrong. But yeah, Picard, a bit of a backseat player in this week's episode. It's more focused on the other characters. I did love the Borg Cube stuff, and Seven of Nine becoming a queen was pretty incredible. I wonder if she's... I don't really want to see her end up being a Borg queen, but it will be interesting if she does. I mean, I think she's going to turn up at this planet with a swimsuit ship Borg Cube, with Romulan fleet and a Starfleet squadron. All this is going to combine together, you know, and it's all going to kick off into a big massive battle scene in final episode, because they've set that up. Starfleet squadron, Romulan fleet, and Seven of Nine and the Borg Cube and the XBs all fighting to protect this planet of the Sims. Or is Starfleet going to take the side with the Romulans? But obviously Admiral O, who's half Romulan, which I thought there was something odd about her. I said this in the podcast this week, that she's half Romulan, half Vulcan, because I don't think Romulans have the telepathic ability like Vulcans, but it would make sense. And she basically forced her to kill Maddox, didn't she? You know, she said she put in a psychic block so she couldn't tell anybody. So that was good. But yeah, I'm really liking the Soji character. I think this series is coming together very nicely. I think episode 8's been pivotal now. I think we have a general idea. There's the big twist and the third player, because we keep seeing her father with no face. You know that thing she said about the father with no face. So I think there's a big surprise coming in the final. I think end of episode 9 we're going to get the big humdinger. You know, the whoopie-doo, and we're all going to be like, fuck it now. You know, I'm using F-bombs now. So that's it. Last week's episode, just a quick one with the Rikers. I really felt for it. It was a beautiful episode. It was well written. It was great seeing Troy and Riker together with their daughter, and it was so sad that they'd had a son, and the son could have been saved if synthetics or androids could have lived, because there's some kind of neuron. And the Federation outlawed it, and it was great. I mean, it had been funny. Somebody did a review on their house about shields up and all that. I loved that when he went shields up in house. But it was a great episode, and it was a nice tribute to their friendship and that. But is Riker going to turn up on a starship in the next 2 weeks? What I want is Worf with the Enterprise. You know, in the last, end of episode 9. We're going to get that big thing at end of episode 9. It's rumoured Q is going to be in episode 10 at the end. I don't know if this is true. We're going to have to find out. Is 7 of 9 going to become a Borg Queen full on? It's going to be interesting, and take over the collective and change their mentality, because it could be done now. I mean, I loved it when he said, Elf Boy, when he said, are you going to assimilate me now? She was just looking at him like, and that big hug he gave her when she came out. Because he's growing on me now. I like his character. At first I thought he was a bit stiff, but there is some charm about him where I sort of do like him. So that's my review of this week's episode of Captain Picard. Sorry for the big spoiler. Let's see if I'm right, but that's all speculation. So great episode. Thing is, you get so into this, and it seems to go for a long time, does each episode, and then it just finishes, and you get, I've never read just as it gets really interesting, it finishes. So I'll see you next Friday. Alright guys, the podcast will be up this weekend, hopefully. There will be a live show on Sunday. If I can get back on time, I've got to go out. I should be back in time, so I'm looking forward to Sunday night. Guys, wash your hands. If you're feeling ill, isolate yourselves. I can't stress enough. You know, I'm not, honestly, I'm not having a lot of contact with people now. I'm just being careful. You know, it's more Skype and phone calls now. I only go out if I need to. I mean, it's pretty crazy out there, isn't it, with all this what's going on. You know, we need a Dr. Crusher, you know, or the EMH off Voyager to, you know, come up with a cure. But, you know, we're not in the world of Star Trek. So, but guys, wash your hands, stay safe, and I will see you on the next video, which will be a Blu-ray review, actually. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, live long and prosper. We can't shake hands, so there we go. Right guys, take care.